Hey guys, how's it going? And happy Friday and happy New Year. I hope 2026 is going to be a good one for everybody. And we're starting off with a bang in the gun world, in the NFA world, $0 tax stamps. Well, they're allegedly here right now. Are they though? I'm not sure because from what I've already been hearing, like literally today, the website's been crashing. I was able to go on there just to see if it was up a few minutes ago, and it was, but it took like 2 minutes for the e-forms page to actually load, and I have no idea what's going to happen. I don't know if the wait time is going to go up to weeks, months, years. Like, just think about this and let me know if you're in the live chat, and shout out to all of you. And whoever's watching on replay, leave me a comment. I want your predictions. Is there a chance there's going to be such a backlog for these tax stamps that the free tax stamp thing might end? It might be up to $4,000 or $5,000 or whatever it could be. Because do you guys really think that the Republicans are going to win the midterms? And second of all, even if they do you even trust Republicans? Now, if you've been watching this channel very long at all, you know my opinion on the political parties. But is there a chance, and I'm not even joking when I ask this, that the line will be so long to get the free tax stamp that it might be over before you can get it? No, that's just a simple question. That's a surface level question. Here's my much deeper question. Why? Why? And who's excited about this and who's not? And who's just kind of neutral on this? Because here in America, in the United States of America, wherever that is, I don't really know where that is. It seems like a country so distant, we can barely remember it, doesn't it? I can't ever even really remember at all living in a country that even resembles the United States of America, actually, because I'm not a Democrat, of course, duh. I'm not a Republican, not a Libertarian. I just want the Constitution. I just want the government to leave me the hell alone. I want them to get their jackboot off of my neck, off of your neck. And I just want to be able to enjoy life a little bit, right? But no. We've had gun control in this country, severe gun control, for almost 100 years. But that wouldn't be possible in the United States of America at all. And we shouldn't even be in the scenario where so many gun owners and Second Amendment supporters, gun owner, Second Amendment supporter, whatever the hell that even means anymore. I don't know if it's ever meant anything. I can tell you what, Second Amendment supporter hasn't meant crap since 1934. I can assert that with the utmost confidence, actually. There hasn't been a man in this country with a hair on his chest or his balls, or even a pound of Second Amendment support, actually, since 1934. Because if there was, we wouldn't have the National Firearms Act, would we? No. But we do. And in the United States of America, there's a Constitution. And in the Constitution itself, it says that it's the supreme law of the land. Now, this is so simple, a fourth grader could understand it, actually. But here's the problem, and I know many of you actually do, but for the most part, nobody in this society, in this country, in this whatever the heck it is, can even understand what a small child can understand. See, these terms are so simple. In a country called the United States of America, there's a Constitution. It says so therein that it is the supreme law of the land, meaning Congress cannot pass any laws antithetical to the Constitution. The court cannot make any rulings that are antithetical to the Constitution. And that each and every single person, which includes all public servants, that takes an oath to protect and defend the Constitution, that if they were to even consider going against the Constitution, it'd be the equivalency of walking the plank and you're right at the end seeing the sharks down below, wouldn't it? Because if you were to take an oath to a Constitution that says it's the supreme law of the land and then violate it, that would literally be treason. And you would be the enemy. And providing aid and comfort to the enemy You know, it's the only thing in the Constitution where they actually prescribe the crime and the punishment. Did you know that? And the punishment literally includes death. Now, here's the crazy part, and this is kind of sad, but a lot of people died for this country so that we could have a constitution. And then very shortly after the Constitution, they ratified the Bill of Rights, which become part of the Constitution. That's what that means. The first 10 times it was amended. And the second time the U.S. Constitution was amended, it was very simple. Again, a fourth grader can understand this. I know all of you understand it, but not many people do anymore. A well-regulated militia, being necessary to the security of a free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. It's clear. It leaves no wiggle room. There is no comma but. No comma but if you pay $200 tax. Taxation's theft. No comma but if you ask for a permission slip. If you send in your photo. If you send in your fingerprints. If you subject yourself to no longer be secure in your persons, your effects, and your papers, and you're willing to give over intimate details of your body, such as your fingerprints, your background check. There's no comma but you must notify your law enforcement officer, your CLEO, your chief law enforcement officer. Because see, I keep reading the Second Amendment. Actually, no, I don't want to lie to you. I'd never lie to you guys. I haven't read the dang thing in years. I have it memorized, actually. You ever notice most Second Amendment people, they have to get out and they have to read the Second Amendment? Look, if you can't memorize the dang thing, you don't even need it, by the way. But no, I haven't read it in years because I have it memorized. But every time I recite it in my head, the right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. I keep looking for that comma at the end. That comma, but you still need to notify the police. But you still need to apply for a stamp, but you need to be put on a registry, but you'll still need permission to cross state lines. But mother, may I please have a teeny bit of my privilege? No, it doesn't say that. It doesn't say the privilege to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed as long as you ... because that's how long the list is when you get an NFA item. So, look, I'm happy for all the excitement of all my friends out there for these free tax stamps because I do like to see good people be happy. But here's the problem, man. Happy over what? The $200 tax stamp is gone now. Now, I'm not giving any legal advice here. This is all my opinion. State laws may vary. If you need an attorney, I'm not one. You have to say that because we're talking in public. But look, $200, yeah. Taxation's theft. The $200 completely unconstitutional. I agree. But now they're waiving that. They've reduced it down to $0 for things like a so-called suppressor. Properly called silencer. That's the patent name. That's how it's referred to in the National Firearms Act and all laws promulgated thereof. Also on a couple categories of short-barreled and kind of unique firearms, such as your short-barrel rifle, short-barreled shotgun, and that kind of catch-all. They don't fit into other categories / they're weird, any other weapon. $0 tax stamps as enacted by Congress yesterday. That's in effect today. Now, I'm not sure if you can actually use the eForms website to apply for it or not. And if you're excited for it, I'm happy for you, I guess, like in a certain way. But at the same time, how do we get ourselves in a situation? And help me understand, guys, because I know I have friends out there. And look, you're my friend. I'm not putting down your decisions. I'm not saying that you don't reach my moral purity test. I don't have any moral purity test for you, okay? But help me understand. Why are so many people getting excited right now to register their firearms? To ask permission for firearms. Okay? To be able to give your intimate details to the police about the whereabouts of said firearms, both on the federal level, because that's what it means to put it on the federal registry, but also you're registering it with your local police because you still have to notify them. You still have to send over intimate details of your persons, your effects, and papers, which the Constitution also says that you're supposed to be secure. And the founding fathers would have never, ever, ever accepted the premise. And I'm sure a lot of you don't accept the premise too. And let me know if you don't. Okay, there's still got to be a few Americans left in this country, and I have a feeling most of them are watching this stream right now. But should you ever have to give up one constitutionally protected right to try to get some half-baked version of another? So, for example, should you have to give up your right to be secure in your person's effects and papers to be able to then get a permission slip to exercise your right to keep and bear arms that shall not be infringed? So we find ourselves in a hyperbolic state right now where most of the gun community is happy. A lot of people are ecstatic about this. And help me understand why. Is it because it's less worse and less worse is still a little bit better? Have we gotten to the point where we've just been beaten down? And these are all legitimate answers. I'm just asking. But have we gotten beat down so much right now where our morale is so down? We're so weak. It's so hard to survive in this country right now, economically. There's a spiritual warfare going on right now. It's called good versus evil. That's all it's ever been, and that's all it ever will be, actually. And Christ is king, and not a lot of people like that anymore, but I know a lot of you do. And a lot of you love Jesus, but you're just at attack in so many different ways. You're attacked because of the color of your skin, especially if you're white. And have we gotten to the point where everyone's just so beat down that they're like, if you just give me a scrap, I'd like to have me a full watermelons, but if you just give me the rind with a little pulp on it, if I can just have a nibble, it'd be better than starving to death. Is that where we're at right now? Now, I asked the question because I'm not certain of the answer, or I wouldn't be asking, and it's not a hyperbolic question. I'm just thinking to myself, that might be where we're at. Because so many people are celebrating right now. Now, here's the crazy part. The anti-gun, the anti-2A, which means, let's just call it what it is, anti-Americans. People who hate this Constitution, people who hate the Second Amendment, people who hate the Bill of Rights, that hate this country. These aren't real Americans, and if they hate it, here's where I'm at with it. It's this simple. Love it or leave it. You either love the Constitution, which means you love this country, or you can leave. You can get the heck out and don't come back. It's literally that simple. Love it or leave it. Leave this Constitution and leave this country for people who actually want to be here, who actually want to be Americans. But the other side, all these people in this country now that occupy this country, that live here, they whatever here, Somalia, look at all the stuff going on there. Look at the new Somalian portions of the United States, how they treat our country. The more you work, the more their daycare gets funded, if you know what I mean. And meanwhile, you're thinking to myself, dude, I have to work so hard. Trust me, I understand. I'll give you guys a little update on the truck, the week I've had, why I'm dressed in cold weather gear, because it's literally freezing in the shop right now, and I can't even afford to keep it any warmer. But I'm sure the Somalian daycares are piping 85 degrees right now. I'm sure they're plenty warm, but I'm not. Why? Because I'm an actual American. And actual Americans are getting nothing but the shaft right now in this country. And I'm getting sick and tired of it. So maybe since we've been beat down by our own government, and since there's so many people in this country that hate America, maybe that's why we're supposed to be a little happy about this. Because half the country hates this because they're like, no, you shouldn't allow these people to own these at all. You shouldn't be allowed to own a suppressor. You shouldn't be allowed to own a firearm of a certain length. And let's cut to the chase. They don't want us to own firearms at all, actually. Because a well-regulated militia, that's necessary to the security of a free state. And these people don't want to be free. Look who was just sworn in as the mayor of New York. This is one of the highest political positions in the country, quite frankly. Seriously. New York City has an economy that exceeds many whole countries. Literally, in his inauguration speech, goes through everything that's antithetical to America. In my opinion, this person hates this country. And they're leading, what, 10 million plus people? Or whatever the heck it is? I don't even know how many people are there, but it's a lot. A lot. At least if we had 10 million actual sheep, we'd have plenty of wool and the lanolin, lamb chops, all the useful byproducts that come from an actual sheep. Instead, we find ourselves with all these useless sheep, useless feeders, feeding on all the sustenance of all the hardworking Americans. People who believe in grit, a good work ethic. You get what you pay for. You put in what you're going to get out. You get what you deserve. The golden rule, right? The Christian principles of this country. We've been taxed to no end. The boots on our neck. So I guess it does seem like a reprieve in many ways. And we can celebrate, right? That, dude, it's $200 more in my pocket. And while that may be true, though, with these $0 tax stamps, you still have to beg for permission. You still have to register your lawfully owned property. Now, this is just like it is getting booked in jail. Think about this. Your photo, your mugshot, your fingerprints, your paperwork. They put you in the system. They put you on a registry. They know your whereabouts. Make sure you report to your probation officer if you want to leave the state, right? Has anyone here ever been on probation? You're on probation. You have to beg your probation officer before you can leave the state. Think about my analogy to an NFA item. You have to now beg the ATF to get your permission slip. In many instances, for many NFA items, to leave the state? Are you kidding me right now? It's supposed to be, I worked hard, I didn't steal from anybody, because stealing's wrong, stealing's a sin. And if you have any American ethos and any values to yourself, if you're a morally good person, you don't want to steal. But it's hard to survive because we're taxed to no end, and taxation is theft. So you're thinking to yourself, man, I've just had somebody steal from me, but I'm still trying to take the high road. I don't want to steal from nobody. I just want to work hard, make an honest buck, put some bread on my family's plate, buy my lawfully owned property that's protected by the Second Amendment and my rights given to me by my Creator. And then you just want to own the dang thing and move on for your life, right? I mean, I think that's what you guys want. That's what I want, but there's so many record-setting numbers right now of people getting these free tax stamps. I may have come to the conclusion I'm in the minority, though. I think I might be in the minority of the Second Amendment community for standing up for the Second Amendment. Can you believe that? Now, again, I'm not having any personal judgment towards anybody because I'm not your judge. I know who my judge is, and there's only one good judge that'll judge my eternity, but I'm not yours. So don't mince my words here. But I've kind of been talking to some people just a little bit because I've been working on my truck / plowing snow now between the two for about 8 days straight. It's been a tough week. Didn't even take off my snow plowing gear because it's so dang cold in here right now. It's pretty cold in here right now. And I've just been out working so much, it's like I don't even know the difference anymore. So, look, been talking to some people around town on the phone, reading some stuff on the internet, and I'm like, man, it seems like the right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed, period, end of story. There's no compromise. That might be starting to become an unpopular opinion within the Second Amendment community. Now, of course, it's an unpopular opinion amongst the communists, the socialists, the anti-Americans, people that hate this country. But then I'm starting to learn more and more every day. And again, Not all, not all, not all. And I want you guys to put in your 2 cents right now. But I'm starting to think to myself, I'm like, what the heck? So, like, these people totally hate the Constitution. These over here, we'll just collectively call them the other side, people that hate America. But then even amongst the people that love America, even like half or more than half of them don't really believe in the Second Amendment, I guess. It seems like to me that, well, there's just some things I'm not going to say on this platform because this channel has a strike on it right now. So, Your Honor, I retract my statement that I didn't make. See, I'm on YouTube right now. I almost just wanted to say something. I'm like, no, I can't say anything. There's no town square left in this country. There's no First Amendment left, so why the hell would there be a Second Amendment left? No. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not trying to be doom and gloom. Because I know a lot of people are really happy today. This is your big day. Get yourself on that list. Get yourself on that longer list and keep going. I mean, it's free. Why not? Now, if there was a black tarry substance that was free and there was a free pipe to go with it, would you light it with your torch and put it to your lips? Now, I'm not really asking that question because the answer for many people is probably yes, actually. I mean, this is America, isn't it? No. I wanted to get into a whole line of thought. Look, here's the deal. I'm going to digress for a second. I'm myself on here as much as I can, man. Half of what I tell you is you getting the real person. But it's only half. Because if I told you half of what I thought, if I said half the stuff I say in real life, like if you knew me in real life, there's a certain word that comes out of my mouth. Oh, probably between 10 to 100 times a day. And if you say it one time, you're gone off of here for your whole life. I'll just give you a real quick example of that. There's so many things you're not allowed to say on here. I just saw that StreamYard, which is the service I use to stream to YouTube, in which there's currently a strike on the channel. I'm on real thin ice right now. StreamYard's now been acquired by Bending Spoons USA Inc. This is what it says at the top of my screen right now in blue, and I saw it flash. The fact that it flashed makes me almost think to myself, are they warning me? Yeah, there's a flashing message on my screen. 2A EDU, you're flying too close to the sun. Oh, really? No. I just want my dang country back. I just want the Second Amendment to actually mean what it means. That's it. And I'd love to talk about the Hart-Celler Act, the Immigration Act of 1965, actually. But there's so many terms that binds me here. If I were to get into that even a little bit, and trust me, this has 100% to do with the Second Amendment. This has 100% to do with everything. But if I were even to get into the Hart-Celler Act, even just a teeny bit, we could get into chain migration. We could get into all of these things. We could get into proportions of what the country's demographics were in 1965 and what they are now. But here's the problem, man. I can only tell you guys half of what I really think. Because this is America, and I have freedom of speech, and so do you. Yeah, right. And we're excited that in a country that says the right to keep and bear arms, it shall not be infringed. Put on your party hat. Let's go, ladies and gentlemen. We get to go on the free registry today. Yeehaw! Yippee-ki-yay. Right above my screen here. You can't even make this stuff up. We're not even a country. Who thinks this is even a country anymore? No, I do. I want to get it back. I'm trying to be optimistic here. I want to get it back. In blue, to simplify our structure and support long-term improvements to StreamYard Inc. The company that previously provided your service has merged into its parent entity, Bending Spoons USA Inc. This means that starting on January 1st, 2026, your service is now being provided by Bending Spoons US Inc. No action is required on your part. Everything about your account, including how personal data is processed, will remain the same. Platform terms. Now if I click on platform terms, hopefully it doesn't kick me out of here. I'm heading somewhere with this. This is where, it's not just YouTube anymore. This is everywhere. Now I'm under Bending Spoons. So hold on a minute. 1789. The Bill of Rights is written. First Amendment, Second Amendment, Third, Fourth, Fifth, Sixth, Seventh, Eighth, Ninth, and 10th. Every other amendment since then has done nothing but destroy this country. Repeal the 19th Amendment, repeal the 13th Amendment, 14th Amendment, terrible, terrible amendments. All of them passed the 10th. But I digress. 1791, they ratify it. Freedom of speech, freedom of the press. The right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. And while we're talking about free tax stamps, registration, permission slips, fingerprints, mugshot, notifying your Clio. Now, I'm just explaining to you why I can only say half of what I want to say on here, because I'm looking through the terms of service. And now we live under Bending Spoons. You guys think I'm joking? Go Google this. You can't even make this up. It's like someone's sitting there thinking to himself, what's this guy even talking about right now? Bending Spoons? We're all under the terms of service of Bending Spoons US Inc. Can someone just wake me up? I just want to be under the Constitution. Now I'm under YouTube. I'm under Bending Spoons. Okay? I mean, maybe nobody finds this funny except for me, but just allow me to laugh a little bit, guys. I've literally been plowing snow all night, every night. I was under the hood of my truck all last weekend. And I'm looking through these terms. And there's guidelines on here. Community guidelines. How we enforce. Well, it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out. Yep, at the old ball game. You're out of here. 3 strikes and you're out. And it goes through all this. And did you know, let me find this exact section here real quick. Did you know now under Bending Spoons, it talks about violence. I'm not a violent person. Oh, but it talks about the D word and the H word, the HATE word. We do not allow discrimination or the promotion or incitement of blah, 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 blah. I ain't allowed to talk things about based on someone's race. I'm not allowed to talk about people's ethnic origin or their gender identity, their caste, or any other characteristics that is typically associated with systematic marginalization or discrimination. Well, first of all, I'm not capable of discriminating against anybody. I'm not the government. I'm not allowed to show promotion of certain symbols or flags or insignia. I'm not allowed to condone or deny or trivialize certain things. Well, here's a test here. Do you guys think I'm going to be allowed to cite an FBI statistic? All right, let's get ready for this. There's this big blue banner across the top right now. I just read you guys some of it. Under Bending Spoons. That's who we're under now, is Bending Spoons. Heck yeah, they're bending my rights, Pillbox Bunker. I'm going to read the chat in just a second, guys. I just wanted to come out of this stream ripping and roaring because it's cold outside. It's cold in this dang shop, and I needed to heat up the room a little bit. I get a little heated when it comes to the Constitution in a good way. I wonder if I'm still allowed to cite the FBI statistic that a certain 13% of the population commits 52% of the violent crime. No. I cited the FBI. I cited the system of authority. I mean, I don't know. I am 2AEDU on X. Make sure you follow me at X. And thank you for reminding me. I do want to thank all of you guys before we continue for the many ways you help support the channel. Thank you to all my YouTube channel members who I see in the chat right now. I see J23 Reviews. What's happening, dude? I see Gort. How's it going, man? The Jolly Roger on the wall. Yeah, I know. There goes that. I don't know anymore, guys. I'd never even heard of this. I've been plowing snow all night. I wake up at 4 p.m. this morning, if you know what I mean, because I went to bed last night at 9 o'clock this morning. I woke up and I'm like, oh, wow. This is why everyone's such a good mood. Free tax stamps and people are whistling and they're dancing their little jig in the town square. And I'm like, wow. Shall not be infringed. Let's line up and get them registered, boys. Register them. I'm going to register on mine tomorrow. I'm going to have so many tax stamps in here, you guys aren't even going to see me anymore. I'm going to start piling the stack stamps from the floor all the way to the ceiling. I'm going to be like one of those like stamp collectors where there'll just be albums of tax stamps. And I'll have to kind of like this. You know, I mean, just imagine this. There's a wall of tax stamps. You know what I'm saying, Gart? There's going to be a wall from the floor to the ceiling. There's like, I don't know, the ceiling angles up there to like 20 foot tall. 20 foot tall, 6 foot wide, about 4 foot deep of tax stamps. And here's how I'm going to start doing my streams. I'm going to start up. All you're going to see is the stamps, and I'm going to go, you know what I mean? I'll come on and be like, yeah, buddy. No, I mean, trust me, I'm going deep on the tax stamps. I'm going to be getting just millions of them. There's no amount that I'm not going to be able to afford of the free tax stamps. But they're walking around. They're dancing themselves a little jig. I'm like, this is cool. Come on, all you men. Let's sign up. Uncle Sam, you know, I was thinking of Uncle Sam and all these patriotic things. I'm like, man, I wish I was a little bit younger. I'd love to go fight for the military-industrial complex. I'd love to go out there and, I mean, geez, oh, Pete, how quick. I'd love to just become an Israeli national, and I'd like to just move there. And I'm just thinking of all these positive thoughts, right? It was a good day. I saw the new Michigan gas tax go into effect today. I'm like, yeah, buddy, man, this is a good deal. Gretchen Whitmer needs a little more of my money. I need my gas prices to go up a little more. You guys know what I'm saying. Just so happy with everything. And then I come in to log into StreamYard, and I'm looking forward to seeing my friends. And that's the only reason I'm here, to see you guys. And then right across the top of my screen, Bending Spoons, Bending, Bending, Bending Spoons US Inc. We've just now your account's with us now. Here's our new terms of service. I'm like, oh, great. Good thing I'm so multicultural. I'm so diverse. Good thing I own a colored TV. Maybe I'll be able to stay on here a little bit longer. They're like, hold on. This guy might be a little bit, he might be a little on the edge. The First Amendment's a bit edgy. No, he's fine. He owns a colored TV. I'm like, yeah. And I just ate me a watermelons, and I'm going to go buy me some beeswax and some Dapper Dan for my hair when it's done. Oh, he's good. So just keep in mind, some Jerry curl. What's happening, Denny's Plant-Based Journey? Nice to see you, man. But thanks to all my channel members, as well as whoever leaves a super chat, which I do see I have a couple right here, so thank you. You guys are the channel sponsors. There's no ad reads. And also thanks to all my local supporters. I wanted to stream there last weekend. I was under the hood of my truck. I'll give you guys an update on the truck and the plowing in just a minute. And so thank you to all who support there, as well as my Patreon supporters. Thank you. And I do have a Cash App down in the description, and I appreciate you guys who donate that way, because it's hard to afford to keep a channel going right now. And I don't do ad reads about any of this shell crap. So thank you to all of you. And make sure you also follow me on X, as well as that other site that I'll be streaming to that rhymes with Fumble. I'm pretty sure I'm actually going to be able to stream this weekend on Locals and Fumble. So Make sure you guys are following me there as well. Let's read a couple of these, and then I want to get into these tax stamps just a little bit more. And by the way, there's more of you guys than me, so if I'm not reading all your chats like in real time, I do enjoy reading them after the stream's over. And of course, in the comment section, and shout out always to the replay crew. Ron 2A Matters, member for 7 months. Well, thank you for the member super chat, Ron. And I didn't get the message that may have been attached to that, but I do appreciate you being a channel member and for helping to support the channel. We have Mr. C coming in, channel member and a super chat. Thank you, Mr. C. I appreciate you, man. Dark bags under your eyes. Get some sleep. Happy New Year. Hey, look, guys, it is what it is, right? I mean, somebody has to work freaking 14 to 16 hours a day. The Somalians need their daycare facility. AIPAC needs to advocate for this special little place in the Middle East that's way more special than you'll ever be or I'll ever be. I mean, somebody somewhere, there's a lot of lobbyists that have to get paid. There's a lot of jackboots that need polishing, so somebody's got to do it. You know what I'm saying? No, I get it, man. There's bags under my eyes. Whatever, you know? There's bags under my eyes. There's dirt under my nails. There's calluses on my hands. This is what it looks like to be a complete reject in this abhorrent place we live in. I understand. I don't quite look right, do I, for this country anymore? I know. Trust me. But somebody's got to do it. Somebody's got to have dark bags under their eyes. I've got stubble on my face, too. Can't even afford a sharp razor. Oh, well. I hope you meant that as a compliment. Hey, 2A Edu, you look like complete hell, man. Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. I didn't know. I had no clue that I've worked about 95 hours in the past week. I hope that was a compliment. 2A Edu, you look like complete crap right now, but other than that, you're looking pretty good, dude. Yeah, I know. Here, can you see me a little better now? There you go. Can you see my eyes a little better now? This is not even a flashing light. It's just messing with the refresh rate. Sorry for blowing people's eardrums out. I was just getting close enough to the microphone so you guys could see the light better. 7 people just left the chat. They'll be back. And if they're not back, I don't really care. I couldn't care less. First of all, here's the deal, guys. People over the years, they just can't help themselves. They always have to say something about my looks. Here's the freaking problem. I'm happily married, okay? And where there is a lot of people in the gun tuber community that do, in my opinion, actually. A lot more than people think. Me, I don't swing that way. I'm married to a woman. Married to a beautiful woman. Okay? I'm good. Doesn't matter how bad I look. And that's not directed towards you, Mr. C. I'm pretty sure you meant that as a compliment. There you go, guys. Here, I'll give you guys another critique. Here, let's just critique me. These tax stamps are so freaking awesome. Here, how much dirt does he have under his nails? Look at that. My cuticles are in bad freaking shape. You know what I'm saying? What else can we look at? Oh, let's look at here, guys. Let's look at this. The sleeves of my jacket, they're ragged. Look at all the bleach stains on my jacket. I think it's because I was under. Look, I've got hat hair right now. Oh, yeah, look. Since I've been under my truck for about 25 hours in the last week. I've got dirt on my hat. My eyebrows are unkept. I'm a white Christian, constitutional, heterosexual, conservative man. That's enough to lose 3 or 4 more subs right there. Two-way EDU, your light's not on straight. At least I am straight. Wild Times channel member and a super chat. Thanks, Wild Times. I appreciate it, man. And Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you too, dude. Denny's Plant-Based Journey channel member for 58 months. Wow, 58 months, dude. Thank you. That's like forever. And I appreciate all your support, man. He says, stay warm out there and be safe. I'm freezing right now, dude, but it's like 10 degrees outside right now. It's crazy out there. I'm going to buy me a bunch of free tax stamps to warm myself up. Thank you, Denny. Rusky Nut coming in, channel member and a $5 super chat. He says coffee refill. Well, thanks, Rusky Nut. I appreciate you, dude. And hopefully you and your little nutty squirrely squirrel friend there can stay warm in the cold right now. Go look at his avatar if you guys want to know what I'm talking about. Which I think is hilarious, actually. Okay, real quick update on the truck. So, yeah, the brake flare thing, I did the best I could, man. Like, I did what I had to do. It wasn't what I wanted to do. Like, you guys know what I'm saying. I'm not like an official mechanic, but I've spent a lot of time under a truck, under the hood thereof, and I pulled a lot of wrenches in my life, lawnmowers, everything. I like to fix something properly, you know. So to answer the quick question, yes, the truck has been back on the road plowing for 4 days straight. So truck broke down Thursday night, which was Christmas night. Got cut short on the time I wanted to spend with my family, was stuck at my shop. Friday, I was just starting to kind of get a grasp on things. You know what I'm saying? And Saturday and Sunday, you got to tear apart all this crap on this truck. I kind of told you guys about that before. It's not like a big job compared to certain jobs, but everything's a big job on these modern vehicles. So I get in there, and I wanted just to buy I just wanted to buy the pre-made brake line, whether it was aftermarket or from the dealership if I had to. Not that I ever want to buy any parts from a dealership because it's insane. But like, I just wanted to buy this new little pre-bent brake line that was like 20 inches long total and just screw it back on there and get on with my life. Can't do it. There's none available in the whole country. It's a 2010 Ford and parts are already just completely unavailable. Common parts like brake lines, if they made them out of a proper copper nickel alloy or something of those sorts, they'd never rust in a million years. But no, they're steel lines. They rust. They're crap. They put this crap coating on it that starts to flake off, and then it actually makes your brake lines rust out worse. You guys probably know what I'm talking about if you've been there. If you've been there, you've been there, especially all of you. Shout out to you that live in the Rust Belt state. It's almost impossible to have a nice vehicle in this place called Michigan and New York and Ohio and many of these states. So you guys know what I'm talking about. So I just wanted to buy the dang brake line. You can't buy it. You can't buy it no matter how much money you have. And I have virtually no money, so I especially couldn't buy it. So I tried to find some new nuts, right? Some new brake line fittings, brake line tube nuts, whatever you want to call them. And they're kind of almost like not quite proprietary, but they're pretty unique to Ford, I'm finding out, because they mix two things that normally don't get mixed together. It's a metric thread. It's a weird thread pitch on one of them. It's an SAE double inverted flare, but it has to have a lead on it. Okay, I'll give you guys a visual thing. Check this out. So this here is a AGS, which is a Michigan company, Muskegon, right? So this says, okay, tube size 3/16, check. Thread size M10, check. By 1.0, we're almost good, but no, we're not. This is for a bubble flare. I use double inverted flare. Here's the problem, though. Most metric thread fittings use bubble flare. Fords are a mix of the two. You have to have a double flare fitting, but it's metric, but you need this lead. See this? Where there's this unthreaded portion, and that allows it to not run out of room before it compresses in there. Here's some standard fittings. This is for a double inverted flare, 3/16 tube nut, 3/8 inch, that's 24 pitch. Generally, your SAE fittings are generally what use the double inverted flare. They don't have that lead on there. It's kind of hard to find it. See what I'm kind of getting into? And most of your metric thread with this little lead, because this is exactly how the OEM ones looked, most of the time they're bubble flare. So it comes down to, I'll finish. This story's getting longer than it should be. I know this isn't a car channel, but maybe it should be, actually. I should just get rid of 2A EDU since everyone's so happy with the free tax stamp. It's done. We've won. It's over. And then I'll just start a car channel, I guess. You guys, I probably could make a living doing a car channel, actually. They get a lot of views, but I digress. It comes down to where I ain't going to find the fittings. Now, this was the easiest fitting to find. It's still not quite right. I had to reuse the old fittings. Ford had over-torqued the one that kind of looks like this, and they had kind of mouthed out the end of it. It wasn't quite right, but there was nothing else I could do. So I fashioned a new line, and I used my little double flaring tool. It's an OTC Stinger, okay? It looks something like this. It looks exactly like this. And I did a double inverted flare on both ends of the line and reused the old crusted, cleaned them up the best I could. I took the advice a couple of you guys gave me, which I appreciate all of your advice, all your prayers, all your well wishes. I am plowing again. Did I fix it? It's technically kind of yes, but it isn't the way I wanted to. So I drilled out the lines real carefully that were stuck in the old fittings. Had to reuse the old fittings. They were not in good condition. They were somewhat damaged. Could not find the fittings at all. Still can't even find them, both of them. It's just a nightmare. So I put it back together with half new and half old parts. That's not how I like to do things. I like to do a proper repair with, like, I wasn't skimping on the nuts to save like $4. I just couldn't find them anywhere. So that's the answer. So I put it all back together. I have to bleed my brakes out. Tons of air coming out of the rear lines. This was coming out of the front part of the master cylinder, which I believe is going to go to the rear lines after it goes through the ABS module. And I think the rear part of the master cylinder, the rear fitting, actually goes to the front. I'm pretty sure that's how that works on this truck, because most of your braking power is actually in the front, not the rear. But anyways, I bleed it all out. I go to tighten up my bleeders, give it a couple pumps, and I notice a little leak. I'm like, what the heck? It's just leaking, drip, drip, drip. I'm using an old fitting. The fitting doesn't quite look right. I can't buy myself out of this jam. I can't find the nuts. They're just like, this one's close to what I need, but it's not the right flare. I couldn't use it, you know? And then I torque it a little bit more, and I'm like, all right, I felt it. It feels tight enough. And it's like aluminum, the master cylinder. This is steel. And I'm like, a little tighter. I hit the brakes a few more times. The drip slowed down, but it's still dripping. And I'm like, oh gosh. So I back it off a little bit, tighten a little more, back it off, tighten it a little more. I'm seasoning the threads is what it's called. Not ideal when you're mixing steel and aluminum. None of this is ideal. I'm literally doing what I can to barely survive. Again, none of this is ideal, guys. It's just Ford discontinued the part. the pre-made brake line with the ends on it. They will not sell you the loose ends no matter what. There's not one in the 3,000 Ford dealerships that will sell you just the nuts on the ends of it. I'm trying to buy the other brake line that's right next to it so I can buy that for $115 just to get the two nuts off of it. Like, this is how insane this is getting. And then I realized, no, actually, all ports on the ABS module aren't the same. So even the line that's right next to it goes into another port on the ABS module. That's not even the same threads as the hole that's 1 inch away from it. So when I tell you guys, I tried everything to do this properly, I was going to have to use these old nuts. One of them was not in good condition at all. So it's still leaking a little bit. I'm like, a little bit tighter. Now it's leaking much less, but still a teeny bit. I'm like, a little bit tighter. And then I'm finally like, no, dude, this is too tight. I'm either going to like break this off in here, completely strip it, but I'm kind of screwed right now because every time I would push the brake pedal in, a couple drops would fall out. As soon as I let go, it would suck some air in, and I'd have to go right back and bleed, starting at the passenger's rear corner again. More air is coming on. I'm like, this isn't sustainable. I might be able to stop once or twice, but after I try to stop 100 times, I'm going to have so much air in my lines, it's going to be like I don't have brakes again. So I did what any guy has to do sometimes, and I know better than this. I don't want to do this. I don't like this. This all sucks. I just got on there and went a little further. It was already on there too tight, and then it got down to where it was like drip. Wait 5 seconds. Drip. And I'm like, whoa. It started off like drip, 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 drip. Almost like a stream. I went for broke. I went for the gusto. I grabbed onto a long pattern 13 millimeter wrench, and I just went, ah. I gave it the Okumbaya, and I hit it. And I just went, and now it was just like tiger tight, way over torque to the max. Went back, pumped my brakes again. I'm like, whoa, I have no drip. Terrible idea to be running steel that hard into aluminum. What are you going to do? You can't buy the parts you need in the whole country. It doesn't exist. It's just like, you know, you can't go online at this point. I knew it was going to snow for 4 more days. So I did that. That's what I did. Has anyone ever been in that situation? Like, I just did that. Bleed the brakes again. I go out and plow with it. Then that's all I could do. The next day it snows. That was Monday. I was working on the truck all weekend. It's a big deal just to take the coolant bottle on and off on this stupid truck. It's this weird quick connect fitting that didn't want a quick release and didn't want a quick connect again. This finicky little circlip you have to put in there. This is a debacle. Just to change a coolant hose now is like this huge deal. And you had to remove the coolant bottle to get to the stupid master cylinder fitting in the ABS module. Anyways, so I had to take off a bunch of other stuff. It's all finicky. It's all goofy. There's barely even any nuts and bolts on cars anymore. It's all these little clips and this and that. So I go out and plow with it for a night, and I'm out for 8 hours. And the brakes are acting fine. I get out after I'm done. I look in there. The master cylinder is not down, and I look below that fitting, and there's one drop like hanging out of the bottom of the fitting. So I immediately look down below, you know. Here, I'll give you guys the visual effect. I look down below with this on. This doesn't flash in real life. It's just something weird with the camera. And it's bone dry below it. So it literally formed one drop that never actually fell. You guys follow me here? During 8 hours of plowing. So I'm like, okay, I guess I'll take it. I'm not going to dare tighten it anymore at this point. Whew. God was on my side. Like, if I were to even dare tempt it and tighten it more, no. So I'm like, okay. So I lose one drop from plowing for 8 hours, if that's even possible. Again, it was bone dry below it, right? So then the next night I go out. I plow with it 8 hours. There's exactly one drop still hanging and won't quite release from the bottom of the nut. So I'm like, I guess I leak one drop per 8 hours now or something. Well, at least I can maybe get through the next few days. So I wipe that off with a paper towel. Third day I go out to plow. This is like for 12 to 14 hours of plowing. And I go under there to look for that one drop, and it's gone. There's no drop at all. And then I actually like wrap the line just loosely. I just take a piece of paper towel, wad it up, and just wrap it around where that fitting is and kind of give it a little tie there. And I have that under there. I went and plowed another 14 hours yesterday. Man, there's no dampness on the paper towel. So I went from it leaking a little bit to one drop over 8 hours. And now, knock on wood, the last 2 days, it doesn't even form one drop. So can you guys make sense of all this? So there you go. There you go. What's happening, Rick? How you doing, man? Nice to see you. No, you've been screwed like that many times. Dude, if you guys have worked on some of these cars, it's just what happens, right? Like, and again, if anyone's just now joining me, sorry, this isn't Second Amendment related. I'll go back into that in 1 second. But I think a lot of you guys have just been there, right? Like, hopefully this is still enjoyable and you can relate to it. But it's like, it's just kind of like a helpless feeling, isn't it? And it's like this big F you where you're just like, dude, I know my truck's old. Like, I get it by all these people's standards, you know, all the who's and all the, I guess, whatevers of the world. It's like, dude, you're driving an old truck. To me, I'm like, dude, it's a 2010. That's still pretty new. Like, my other truck's a 2000 out there. Now, here's the crazy part. For my 2000 Ford, I might use these for some of them. The old, 3/8/24. See, I was telling you guys about this the other stream. I have all the SAE fittings you could want. Maybe it's a 7/16 by 24 pitch. Maybe it's a good old, we should find the half 20 in here somewhere. There it is. Maybe it's your classic 1/2 inch 20, which is a fine thread. Not an ultra fine, but a fine thread. And then you might even go with your big jumbo. 9/16 18. These are all, again, inverted flare. No. So if you have like a pretty old vehicle, you know what I mean? You can still just like buy normal stuff and fix it. But if you got a 2010 Ford F-250 Super Duty 4-wheel drive, you literally, just think about this. You could go to the biggest poultry farm in the whole country. You know what I'm saying, Rick? How's it going, man? I was talking to Rick on the phone just like a week ago, and we said once all the holidays calm down and we're both not working 80 hours a week, I'd like to have him join me right about here next to me in this empty chair. I'd like to have Rick back on for the to be a guest. It's been a while, man, and I hope you're doing good. But look, Rick, we could go to the biggest poultry farm there is. Just think about this. We go to Tyson's Chicken, and we could find 1 million hens out there. And what if we tried to find the teeth in them? Now, it's pretty hard to find hen's teeth, guys. It'd be pretty rare. You could go to the biggest poultry farm in the whole world and still not find hen's teeth. You can literally find hen's teeth before you can find this brake line that Ford put together, let alone the fittings for it, right? It's true. And it's literally just like insane, man. And it's just like, oh. But here's the problem, guys. It's a Ford thing. It's a Chevy thing. It's a Dodge thing. It just depends what you're working on that day. They all suck. They're all garbage, every one of them. That's just my opinion. Oh, geez, oh, Pete. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up, guys. I just got like 3 thumbs downs when I know. I just pissed off my... No, I'm just being a realist. Look, all of it sucks. Don't get me started on people I've known that are trying to work on BMWs, Mercedes, Volvos. We call them slobs. Has anyone ever seen someone work on a Saab? There's a reason they call it a slob. Now, when you get into some of these import cars, it even gets 100 times crazier. But no, they all suck. They're all junk. When you live in the Rust Belt, when you live in Michigan, when you live in states like this, your vehicle's just going to suck and it's just going to be terrible and you just can't have nice things, right? So you try to make it through and they're like, now here's the kicker, man. Ford informs me that they actually discontinued not only the pre-bent brake line, but the brake fittings. They discontinued them in 2021. So even an 11-year-old truck is so old, you're not allowed to work on it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's a sob story. No, you're right. It's a sob story. I mean, look, I get it. In some years, maybe a Toyota is good to go, and everyone's going to have their brands. But at the end of the day, if you live in this forsaken state of Michigan, with all the salt on these roads, all the potholes in these roads, just everything's a complete disrepair. You drive down the average road in Michigan, it looks like a third world country. Speaking of being taxed to no end. And they're lying to you all about the gas tax in Michigan, too. All these Republicans that are posting this thing saying the new gas tax in Michigan's neutral. No, it ain't. No, it ain't. I'll get into that in 1 second if you guys want me to. Does anyone want to know about the Michigan gas tax? If you want to know, I'll tell you all about that. But you're driving around. The roads look like a war zone. It looks like grenades have gone off everywhere. You can't own a grenade unless you pay a tax stamp and have very, very special permits, because they didn't take the tax stamp for grenades down to $0. But you can still get the effects of a grenade. So just imagine like you threw grenades all over a nice road. Now, here's where I'm going to give my friends to the south a big shout out, dude. I drive down south, and for the most part, even the dirt roads down south, dude, they're nice. Nice roads in the south, like big time. Man, I love me a southern dirt road, by the way. Now, I know not all, but I'm telling you, man, the average dirt road, and I've been out in the sticks of Georgia, all right? I've been out in the sticks. I've got some friends that live out in the middle of nowhere of Georgia, like the real remote parts of it. I would take a middle of nowhere. Remember that old Dwight Yoakam song? I'm 1,000 miles from nowhere. You're like in that area, down on those red dirt roads in Georgia and, parts of like southern South Carolina, all these places, Alabama, you know what I'm saying? These areas, the red dirt road. Dude, those red dirt roads down south are usually about 10 times smoother and nicer than the most brand new paved road. They paved the road brand new in Michigan. It's already lumpy. They literally put in a concrete road in Michigan, a concrete freeway, and a week later, they close it down again. So it's been down for 5 years. It finally opens. A week later, they close it for another 6 months, and they cut these swaths out of it. They'll get out there with the concrete saws. They literally cut these just like swaths, these channels out of it, and then they patch it again with a different concrete. It's not quite level. You're driving over it. It feels like a washboard. Boom, 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 boom. The stiffer suspension on your vehicle. Before you know it, your head's hitting the ceiling. This is the brand new road. So they put the road in brand new. Then they start cutting strips in it. Then they start plowing the snow the first winter. The snow plows are catching on it. They're ripping chunks of it up. Then they walk by and they throw the old hot patch on there. They just have the trailer idling by and the guy just, yep. And they just throw a pile down. This is a road that was torn down for 5 years. For 1 week, you had a smooth road. Then they cut the swaths in it. Then the potholes come. Yeah. And then they start throwing the hot patch in there. That's bull crap. You got to drive over it with your car, throwing tar and gravel all over your car, your truck, your whatever. I'm serious. This is why we can't have nice things. So you're going down the road. The first snowstorm hits, the first ice, the big county truck, they call it. The old 33K payload truck going down the road. You guys know what I'm talking about. It hits that patch, rips it right out of there, and now you get to have the simulated effect of owning grenades. So imagine you take your nice southern road, because that's where, look, there's pros and cons to the north and south. Okay, there's some parts of each you all might like or not like. But you take your nice southern road, you go out there and just pull the pin on about 20 grenades and scatter it around, then drive over it. If you want that experience without owning the grenades, just come up to Michigan. The rust, the bumps, you go get brand new tires, they're out of balance in like 3 days. Your rims are bent. If you have steel wheels, if you have aluminum wheels, your rims are cracked, you're breaking struts, you're breaking shocks. It's rusting so much, before you know it, your strut tower's rotted out, and the whole strut that's already been blown out like the day after you bought it because of all the grenade holes in the road. Now it's pushing through the unibody. Now it looks like your hood has a dent in it. That's just your strut coming all the way out. It's just insane, man. Literally. Like, you cannot have nice things in this crappy state. What's happening, Dale? How you doing, man? Dale Morales, you're all right, bud. It's good to switch up the conversation. Well, I was a little passionate about the 2A, And here's the thing, man. I really was asking you guys like real questions earlier. Here's the thing. I just want the NFA repealed, period. End of story. And I'm hoping that these free tax stamps are going to lead to these items getting removed outright. I'm trying to be hopeful. I don't want to be black-pilled, okay? I'm hoping. Maybe that's why people are getting so excited. This might just be the first step in getting these items off the NFA. That's a good thing. I'm hoping, though, that like so many millions of people, getting all these free tax stamps, I'm hoping this doesn't happen, though, right? I'm hoping the government doesn't come in and say, well, all right, they're cool now. We've appeased them. So, like, this is good for now. And then we'll do the old bait and switch and put more items on the NFA since they're so cool with this. Let's start adding, like, all semi-autos to it and anything with the shoulder thing that goes up and all these things. You guys know what I'm saying. It's the old slippery slope. And you've always got to think about the slippery slope when it comes to the Second Amendment. You really do. So it's kind of one of these things where it's like, like you don't want to be negative all the time. And I'm not. I just wanted to give you a stark viewpoint on it and then think about things and, but you don't want to be like, it's a fine line, right? You don't want to be miserable all the time. And I don't want you guys to be miserable. And I'm not either. But you don't want to be so like happy-go-lucky where you're like, this is awesome. I love my free tax stamp. Mr. Government, man. As long as you put some free lube on it, will you put your what up my what? No. So there's a line between the two somewhere. So I don't want people to think like the NFA is good now. This doesn't make the NFA good. For me, and I have a feeling 100 of you have already left this in the comments. It wasn't about the tax. Now, it was. Okay, let me back up. Yes, the tax is unconstitutional. It was about the tax. However, comparatively, it wasn't even about the tax for a lot of people. You were like, the $200 was the least of my concerns compared to all the invasiveness of all of it. That you having to fill out a very invasive form that has all your intimate details of your life, your fingerprints, your photograph, being on a federal registry, having to ask for a permission slip, notifying your local law enforcement, not being secure in your effects and your papers, inhibiting your freedom to travel, inhibiting your natural God-given right to keep and bear arms that shall not be infringed. So whereas the tax, of course, bothered all of us, but I think for a lot of people, all of the other BS bothered people even a bit more, right? And all the other BS is still there. So whereas one person might look at it and say with the tax stamp that, dude, it is a little less worse, man. And if somebody were to tell me that, I can't argue with them. It's a little less worse. But like, are we content with it being a little less worse? Or are we just going to take this small little step now and keep pushing harder forward? I don't know the answer to that. And that's what's got me a little apprehensive. Because I'm afraid there might be a lot of people in this country that are going to be like, dude, we got just a little bit. We got just a little bit back. They knocked it down a couple $100 or $5. They knocked it down when it comes to the AOW. I'm good now. Time to tap out. Time to stop advocating for the 2A. We just won. We're good to go. Let's celebrate. Everything's good. I hope that's not going to be the case. Midwest Logger. What's happening, Midwest Logger? How you doing, man? They take all summer to, quote, fix a bridge, and they can't get a smooth transition from the road to bridge. It's like a speed bump. Oh, I know. And some of you guys drive stiff suspension trucks and whatnot. I'm not joking when I say this. Sometimes you're sitting there and you look like the bobblehead. You're like this. Once in a great while, though, you'll hit one of these whoop-de-doos on a Michigan road and your head's hitting the ceiling. You're like, dun. And you're just kind of like, whoa, where am I? What's going on? For a brief second, while you're still dazed, you're like, whoa, I just hit a bump in the road. I'm an American. I live in the United States of America. The right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. And then you're like, oh, shoot, I got to wake up. You have to get the truck back in the lane. And you're like, oh, okay. All right. Whew. Oh, yeah. I mean, it shall not be infringed as long as you apply for a stamp, contact your Clio, your Leo, your feds, your ATF. I mean, you can trust the ATF with your effects and papers, right? Right. Just ask Randy Weaver's family about that. Oh, wait, you can't ask his wife about how much you can trust them. They killed her with a baby in her arms. Well, why don't you ask Randy Weaver's son? Oh, you can't ask him. He's dead too. Why don't you ask the Weaver family dog? Oh, you can't ask the dog either. Sure, you can trust the government. Sure, you can. What about David Koresh, who was running a religious cult, and I do believe that's sinful. However, he jogs the town every day. Allegedly, he has machine guns. Allegedly. I doubt it. No, they come in with the tanks. They come in with the gas. They come in with the bombs. And there was lots of women and children as they tried to hide from a tyrannical jackbooted government. They gassed them with flammable gas and set the building on fire. See, here's the thing with all this. These same people that you're submitting these forms through, the same people that you're allowing to become part of your intimate life, your effects, your papers, your houses, your persons, are the same people that did all these things. Now, fast forward to more recent times. Brian Malinowski, the airport CEO. They said maybe he was engaged in the business of something, but maybe he wasn't. Maybe he was, but maybe he wasn't, though, actually. They made a whole rule that still hasn't officially been repealed, by the way. Still hasn't been officially repealed. People think it has, but it actually hasn't. They gunned him down right within his own home in the wee hours of the morning, the middle of the night. That's what they do, the middle of the night. So these people who literally come in and gun down women and children and snipe a mother holding a baby in her arms and a well-respected member of the community, the CEO of the local airport, these are the people that you're giving all your intimate details to, that you own these guns that they don't want you to have. Because whereas there's a big legal effort by a lot of groups right now, lots of your donations help to this, just trying to get these items removed from the NFA outright, the US DOJ, Pam Bondi and hers, are in there fighting to keep the NFA alive. These are people that do not want the NFA to go away. These are the people you have to trust with your most intimate details. This is the group that has a long history of gunning people down and burning women and children alive. So there's some concern with that, isn't there? I mean, I would assume there's some concern with that. Like, think about this. There's probably very few people in your life that you would share such intimate details with. I hope everyone has at least enough of an immediate family where you could trust a couple family members with those things. These personal effects of your person, of your legal entity, your cog in all these different industrial complexes, your employee ID number, whatever you want to call all this stuff. At the end of the day, you're all a tax slave. We're all slaved. But you might only have a handful of people in your whole life that you would share these intimate details with. And it's hard for me to get excited about, even if it's for free, sharing all these intimate details with a group that has a long and repeated history of doing some of the most abhorrent things you don't even want to think about. And I just listed 3 things, and there's so many more. These people come in like thugs. They come in more well-armed than the army. We have militarized police now in this country. Now, everything I'm talking about right now would have made me considered a liberal somehow like 10 years ago. See, it's this paradigm shift. It's this whole like, oh, look at here. Now let's turn it around. No, it's a coin. It's two sides of the same coin. It's the same bird with two different wings. They just shift every generation a little bit on things. When I used to literally call my congressman, Tim Walberg, my United States congressman, and I said, we need to stop the militarized police in this country. We don't need militarized police. I don't want the military. Well, I don't want anybody coming after my guns, but I don't want something looking like the military coming in to burn me out, gas me out, mow me down, power overwhelming, all cheat codes enabled, God mode, whatever you video gamers call things. When I used to call my Republican congressman 10, 12, 15 years ago and say, I'm sick and tired of these militarized police in my streets. God bless everybody that serves. God bless people that are in the army. I don't want the army in my streets policing me. I don't want them coming in raiding people's guns like the military. They come in with enough firepower to take out a small country, to find like women and children, you know? And they labeled me as a Democrat liberal for having that thought. Well, 10 years later, that was 15 years ago. 10 years later, all of a sudden, all the liberals wanted that. And then I was labeled a conservative. Oh, you must be a Republican. You're tired of the militarized police. Now in the last year, I'm back to being accused of being a liberal again. Because now that everybody's daddy's in office, so don't even get me started on the TDS. It's on both sides. You're either deranged for him or you're deranged against him, and there ain't much in the middle. Don't take it personal, guys. I know I just pissed off half my audience. He wasn't hard enough on Trump. Half of the people say. The other half, he didn't praise Trump enough. I know. We can still be friends, I promise. Now I'm a liberal again because I'm anti-militarized police. Because now all my Republican friends, not all, many of my Republican friends are like, this is awesome. Trump needs to get more National Guard. We need more Army patrolling our police. I'm like, what? You guys following me on this? Just think about this. 15 years ago, I was called a libtard because I didn't want militarized police. 5 years ago, 2 years ago even, let's just say a year or two ago, I was a good conservative in good standing for not wanting militarized police. Now I'm being called a Democrat again for not wanting militarized police. I haven't changed my view on it ever. I've never, ever wanted militarized police in my country. The ATF are militarized police. They come in like the military. It's very questionable whether they were even formed under lawful authority at all, actually. But assuming maybe they possibly were, which I don't accept that premise, they have tanks. They have choppers. Everybody has a machine gun. Everybody has flashbangs. Excuse me? For what crime? For not paying a tax? Because remember, when you get in trouble for an NFA item, it's not for the item in and of itself. It's because you didn't pay the tax. Now, if you don't pay a $0 tax, just think about this. All these forms and information are necessary, they say, to make sure you paid the tax. Now, if you don't pay the tax that you don't have to pay, think about this. If you don't pay the tax that you don't have to pay and don't fill out all the paperwork and go through all the song and dance to prove that you didn't pay a tax that you don't have to pay, you're going to have the military at your door in many instances. Did that even make sense what I said, like, at all? No, I know it made no sense. None of this makes any sense. It's literally nuts. Think about this. You didn't pay a tax that you didn't have to pay, so you didn't fill out paperwork to prove that you didn't pay a tax that you didn't have to pay, and don't have a standoff with the old boys like Randy Weaver did. Dude, he took a couple inches off a shotgun barrel after Fed Boy Plants talked him into it. This is literally what we're talking about here. If you're young or went to public schools or all of the above or whatever, if you're new to the channel, welcome, by the way. Not many Second Amendment channels talk about this. But the fact that they were allowed to get by with that proves there hasn't been a Second Amendment in this country in a very long time. Let me be crystal clear. But he takes a couple inches off a shotgun barrel under coercion and collusion and persuasion from the federal government. Remember that whole Whitmer thing? Coming to find out it's a whole bunch of feds and a couple guys that were lied to. And once they found out what they were trying to cook up, they're like, dude, I'm out. I don't want to actually do this. I don't even know what you're talking about. Oh, we just had an inside informant. There's like 14 people involved in this conspiracy and 11 are inside informants. I don't think so. What happened to the good old-fashioned entrapment? There used to be anti-entrapment laws. No. You cut a couple inches off a barrel. They come to the house to have their powwow. It's their old song and dance. You know what I mean by powwow? Oh, yeah, like Wounded Knee. Let's go back over 100 and something years ago now. Let's go back 150 years ago to the massacre at Wounded Knee. The government in good faith made a negotiation with the Indians, didn't they? They said, look, here's the deal. Just peacefully give us your guns and it'll be all good. It'll be all good. Right after they landed the last gun over, bam, just started massacring them. Virtually every last one of them. That's what they do. Hand over your guns so we can just mow you down. Just summarily wipe them out. They had made a deal with the government, though, man. That's a deal. I mean, I get it. There's lots of excitement to make a deal with the government for the tax stamp. I understand it, but let me ask you guys a question. Just to think about. This is a thought exercise. You don't need to literally answer. Me, sitting here in my shop. You guys are getting half the real version of me. No, here's the deal. You actually get the real version of me every stream. I can just only say half of what I want to say because we're so heavily censored. So I say that as a term of art. No, you're getting the full me. This is who I am. But you only get to hear half of what I'd like to say. So maybe you're thinking to yourself, I kind of like this guy a little bit. Maybe we're friends, right? I hope we are. I like a lot of you guys, you know. Not a trick question. We're friends. We're cool with each other. What if I said, hey, man, I like you. I think you're cool. And you're like, heck yeah, man, vice versa. I'm like, yeah, can you give me your social security number? Let me get your fingerprints. I want a nice picture. I need to know exactly where you live. Now I'm going to start notifying people of your whereabouts and your firearms. Would you give all that information to me if I asked you for it? Just think about that for a minute. I'm not asking you for it. Don't want. This is a hypothetical. If I asked you for all that personal information, then I said, oh, and by the way, buddy, you want to go down to Ohio, 15 minutes away? You're going to need to ask my permission first, you know. Would you be cool with that? Would our friendship grow, or would you not want to be my friend anymore if I was even brazen enough to ask you for that? Now, here's the thing, man. I'm not a violent person at all. Never gone after a dog. Literally makes me want to cry just thinking that somebody would snipe a mother holding a baby in her arms. I've never filled up a compound of people with women and children full of flammable gases. I've never let it on fire. I've never committed a mass genocide over a whole village of Indians. In fact, I'm like a really nice guy and I don't want to hurt anybody. I just want to be left alone. And you guys know I've never done any of that stuff, and you still wouldn't give me all that information, would you? Now, I filled out 4473s before. I've got blood on my hands. I'm guilty. I'm a hypocrite. Yeah, I know. It sucks. I don't own any tax stamps, but yeah, I filled out information. Why do we give our information to somebody? They're sociopathic. They're dangerous. They have a documented history of usurpations. They have a documented history of violence, of thuggery. You wouldn't even give that. Just think about this. And I wouldn't either, by the way. No offense to you all. I take no offense. You wouldn't give me all of your information like that. And I wouldn't even ask you for it. And likewise, if you asked me, I wouldn't give it to you either. Here's the thing, though. We're cool with each other, and we still wouldn't do that. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm just trying to, this is just a thought exercise is all there is. So why the hell do we give all of our information to an entity that has a long history, even up to very recent times, of violence, of thuggery? Stuff you wouldn't even trust your personal friends with. You wouldn't even trust but spare a couple close family members with. You'll willfully give it over as often as you can to one of the most violent, corrupt entities that exist? I don't know. Maybe you guys have thought about this a million times. Maybe you've never thought about it. I just wanted to bring that up as a thought exercise. And I don't know why we do the things we do. And I don't like it. But yeah, I filled out 4473s before. I have a CPL. So trust me, when I complain about all this stuff, I'm not sanctimonious. I'm not holier than thou. In fact, I told you guys I'm going to have 1 million tax stamps in here. I'm going to be swimming in them. You guys will watch me. I'll come up doing the old breaststroke, and I'll come up. Or maybe the butterfly. You know what I'm saying? Freestyle, backstroke. Just depends. I'll be doing whatever. I'll be swimming in tax stamps. You're like, whoa, that's 2A EDU doing the backstroke in a swimming pool full of tax stamps. No. I don't have any tax stamps, though. What's happening, Girl Carpenter? Nice to see you. 250 years ago, we started over because of taxes. Yeah, like 2%, right? Now most of us pay property taxes for the privilege of living in our own homes. Bill Campers, what's happening, man? And thanks for being a channel member. If you think your info is private, well, that's another conversation. Look, I know stuff's not private, guys. I'm not naive. I know all that. It's just the whole thing where, like, you know what I'm saying? Look, I don't like militarized police, okay? The ATF cannot be trusted. My friend Rick that I was just saying hi to earlier, Rick's my good friend. He's a policeman. I don't hate all police. It's not even like that. It's just, we'll talk about the gas tax, Dale. That's why I penned that up there so I don't forget. But, man, like, when it comes to the history of the ATF, this ain't officer friendly. This ain't Barney Fife we're dealing with. You know what I mean? What's up, Ace Diamond? Thanks for being a channel member. And I thought I saw another super chat here. My friend Mr. C again. Thank you, Mr. C. I appreciate it, man. He says it was a sincere concern worry. Yeah, I know it was. And that's why I said that to you. I'm like, I know you meant that as kind words. So hopefully you're still watching, Mr. C, to hear me. I tried to clarify that earlier. Look, it's one of those things that I do it sometimes. You saying something sparked getting me off on a tangent. It wasn't you necessarily. I said, I think Mr. C means this is a compliment. It's just always been a thing on here. You know, people come in and somebody will most likely come into the comments and To AEDU, you have bags under your eyes. Now, Mr. C did it out of concern, and I do believe that, man. I really do. But someone else will be like, you look like crap, dude. You look like this, and you look like that. And it's like, I know. Like, whatever. What's happening, DB Cooper? How you doing, man? Okay, the gas tax. Here's something that's getting on my nerves a little bit right now. All these Michigan House Republicans are putting out this little flyer, this infographic, and it's yellow, and it's got this gas pump looking nozzle and hose and all this, and it says, neutral, we didn't raise your gas tax in Michigan. Here's what I have to say. To the terrible messaging from the Michigan House Republican caucus. And some of these reps are my friends. But they're just repeating these talking points they get fed from the inside. Don't trust the government, representatives. You have to warn your government officials. Don't trust the government. Don't trust the insiders. Don't trust the leaders of your caucus. You know what I'm saying? So they're putting out this infographic. I'm so sensitive. Huh. Who am I sensitive to? Tell me more, Raptor. You're probably saying that to somebody else on there, right? I'll give you a chance to clarify yourself because sometimes I don't understand that. So let me know what you mean by that, Raptor. So here's the deal. The gas tax just changed in Michigan yesterday. And this is just while we're talking about taxes, we're talking about taxes. So Michigan already had like a 31-cent tax on every gallon of gas, but they also applied a 6% sales tax to the price of each gallon of gas. They renegotiated things. Now, look, the Democrats are just as guilty as the Republicans. The Republicans and Democrats got together and agreed through the budget process to change the way gas is taxed in Michigan starting yesterday and going forward. Now, there's federal taxes. Look, this is insane. There's like 5 levels of taxes on each gallon of gas. You know what I'm saying? I'm giving him a chance to clarify himself. Clarify yourself, sir. I'm going to give you about 1 more minute or so. I'm in a very good mood, so I'm going to give you 1 more minute to clarify yourself if you want to. If not, I can just cut right to the chase right now, actually. I'll give him 1 minute to clarify himself. All right. So, 6, here's the essential difference here. And this is what's pissing me off because Democrats and Republicans all passed this. They said it to the governor. And they're replacing the 6% sales tax on each gallon of gas. They changed it to a 20-cent just flat rate. And they're saying this is neutral. But here's the problem. They don't give you any type of fine print on the bottom saying, assuming gas is $3.50 a gallon. Just do your quick math on a calculator. Here, I'm going to get my calculator out. No, I'm just talking to people, actually. But I just wanted you to clarify. Have a good one, dude. I don't like people that whine, so you're out of here. So thank you for telling me the truth. I do appreciate you, Raptor, but I'm just going to get you out of here. If you can cool off, you can come hang out next week. I know you're being respectful, so we'll just get rid of you for a day because whatever. He said he was being respectful, so. He did say he was being respectful, didn't he? Hold on a minute. Was he being respectful? Look, if you guys want some stage teleprompter bullcrap, just go watch Fox News. It's this simple. Just go watch Fox News. You know what I'm saying? They'll have the teleprompter. They'll have their toupee. They're going to be whatever the hell you want them to be. You know what I mean? They probably won't talk about the real stuff this channel does, though. They probably won't. You know what I mean? And I'll probably be kicked off of here soon anyways. So here's the thing. They say it changes nothing. I was about just to get rid of Raptor because I'm like, whatever, dude. I don't have time to deal with mean-spirited people. But I didn't, because he says he's being respectful. It derails the show. And whatever, dude. You know, just like whatever. If you're allowed to be honest with me, I'm allowed to be honest with you. Whatever, dude. Like, who cares? I'll derail all I want. I mean, shoot. I'm underneath Bending Spoons US Inc. right now. I'm under YouTube. I'm under Raptor J76. I don't meet his approval. I can't talk about what I want to because of Bending Spoons US Inc. You know what I mean? Guys, this channel is probably not going to be around much longer. Do you get it? Like, whatever, you know? They're after this channel big time. I've tried to tell people that. Let me get out my calculator here. So they're saying, look, they're saying they replaced the 6% tax on gas in Michigan for a 20-cent tax. It's all neutral. Well, here's the deal. Let's say gas was $3.50 a gallon times 0.06, 6 cents on the dollar. That'd be a 21-cent tax. So yeah, if gas was about $3.50 a gallon, it would be neutral to swap out the 6% sales tax for 20 cents. But here's the problem. It's really not. Because here's the thing, and I criticize Trump about certain things. I call a spade a spade. Trump did do a really good job in his first term with getting gas prices down. He just did. Just look at the price of the gas when Trump was in. Look at Obama before. Gas prices. Look at Trump's first 4 years. Look at Biden. Now look at Trump again. Trump's good on gas prices. Can we all at least agree on that? I hope we can. Okay. So most of these Republicans ran on MAGA. They ran on the Trump agenda. Not all, but many of them endorsed Trump. Many of the Michigan policies have mirrored a lot of the Trump federal policies. He's the most powerful person in the Republican Party. The Trump plan when it comes to gas, I'm just talking about gas right now. I think it's fair to say Trump's pretty good on gas prices, right? I know you guys don't like Trump, but can we agree on this at least? I know. He's not good enough on Trump. He's not. I'm heading somewhere with this. Trump gets elected. He's like, I will knock gas prices down lower again. He did it before. He's already gotten gas prices down on average $1 a gallon. He's doing whatever he can policy-wise to get gas to drop. So just by Trump getting elected, we could anticipate, a reasonable person would have anticipated gas prices would be dropping. That's the premise I'm trying to throw out there. I predicted this when Trump first got in office, and they were first passing this budget for Michigan. I'm like, well, we're going to get screwed because gas may be an average of $3.50 right now, as I said months ago when they were voting on these provisions of the Michigan gas tax in the omnibus budget. I said, yeah, but here's the thing, though. Trump just got in office. These are still Biden gas prices. Based on Trump's past history, gas prices are probably coming down nationwide. So, yeah, it's even in theory if gas is $3.50 a gallon. Here's the problem. By my house the other day, it was $2.39 a gallon. So let's see if this is a neutral gas tax. And it's not. Okay? And it's not. Because $2.39 a gallon times 0.06, that would have only been 14 cents per gallon if we would have stayed under the old way at $2.39 a gallon. Now, the 14 cents has been swapped with 20 cents. What if gas was $2 a gallon even? Under the old way, that would have been 12 cents in sales tax per gallon. This is now 20 cents. 20 equals more than 12. 20 equals more than 14. There's an area that's real expensive on gas. It's kind of like your southwestern Oakland County area. I know of a little town called South Lyon, Michigan. Anyone heard of it? South Lyon. I was driving through there a couple days ago. Gas was $2.78 a gallon in South Lyon. Now, where I live, which is an hour from South Lyon, it was $2.39. An hour away, it's $2.78. Let's do that math. $2.78 a gallon. If they would have kept it the same, which these Republicans are messaging on this. Here's the problem. The Democrats and Republicans both did this to you, but the Republicans are saying, look how great we are. We kept your gas prices neutral. They want to lose the next election. This is stupid. Now, they did do something good for the working people in the budget, but barely any of them are talking about that. And if you want to know that, I'll let you guys know that before I jump off. But here's the problem. 6% of $2.78 is 16.7 cents a gallon. So even in a very expensive city in Michigan for gas, I don't know why, just that area is always high on gas every time I go through there. You're still getting jacked 3 cents more a gallon, 3.5 cents more a gallon. But you're going to go, and I'll show you this stuff, and this is what they pass out. I'll show you what the infographic looks like. I'm going to go to Facebook, which I don't use very much because Facebook, I'm shadow banned on there. I'm whatever on there. And you're going to find this same infographic that's on almost all of the reps pages. So let me go to, let's see here. It's taking me a minute here, guys. Pardon me. Facebook's a little bit goofy. There must be so many people buying them free tax stamps. It's got us kind of bogged down right now. All right, let's see here. Yeah, I told you I'm shadow banned on Facebook. I don't want you guys just have to take my word for this. Like if you go to like almost any, not all, but almost all these Michigan House Republicans Facebook pages, they have this graphic up on here. And I don't know what's going on. I may have to, maybe I'm in trouble with Facebook now. It's not letting me go in here. Let me see if I can find it the old-fashioned way. All right, here we go. I have some type of warning on my Facebook account that I need to look at. So I guess I'm in trouble on there too. So I will show you. All right, here's my state representatives page. Revenue neutral gas tax shift. Now, she didn't make this infographic. It's on her page. It says revenue neutral gas tax shift explains. Sales tax on gas eliminated. Let me come over to this screen to make sure you guys can still see me. All right. Sales tax on gas. Can you guys see this infographic here? It's yellow and black and white. Sales tax on gas eliminated, down 20 cents. Funds went over to state government, replaced by 20-cent gas tax. All funding goes to roads. Now, there's no asterisk, though, but by my math, gas has to be just a hair under $3.50 a gallon before you would subtract 20 cents and raise 20 cents. But with Michigan having a 6% sales tax, with gas being far less than $3.50 a gallon, This is raising your gas by as little as 3.5 cents a gallon if you're kind of on the higher end of gas prices in Michigan right now, all the way up to 8 cents a gallon if you're kind of closer to that $2 range, which some places in Michigan, from what I understand, are. So your taxes have gone up significantly. I don't agree with this infographic. Just completely on the issue. I'm not happy to see this on my state rep's page. Not a deal breaker for me for a vote. I'm a single issue voter. I vote based on the Second Amendment. Representative Thompson wasn't even in the committee, didn't even need to be there, but I saw her in the audience at the red flag repeal hearing at the committee. I saw her. I saw Representative Angela Regas in the audience. There may have been more. That's just the two I saw. So when a representative is willing to go there to advocate for me and my 90,000 neighbors in her district for the Second Amendment, that's going to supersede this gas tax. She still has my vote. She's still my favorite state representative. She's still my friend. But at the same time, I'm not happy to see this on here. It's just, and she didn't create this either. It's just the messaging. Okay. And I left a comment on there, so I mean, it is what it is. I just wanted to call out that it's just not proper math. What's happening, Max Payne? 2-8 EDU, a rebel with a cause. Nah, I just don't like taxes and all this kind of stuff. It's just like, just on everything, you know what I mean? They're manipulating the gas tax, the tax stamp. Yeah, they probably do. What's happening, Dale? And I think I saw you commenting on that same post. So it is what it is, man. And trust me, don't take for 1 minute that I'm like, oh no, it's like totally cool that they're putting out this smoke and mirrors for the gas tax. It's not cool. That's why I just brought it up. I don't like it. But I've also told you guys this many times, and that hasn't changed about me. I'm a single issue voter. I vote based on the Second Amendment. And that's just how that works. See, even in New York, you guys are very expensive state. You're even to the left of Michigan, if you will. Not you personally, just like the people in New York. It's a pretty tough place for honest, law-abiding people to live in many cases, right? Now, most of New York's actually really good people. Half of New York, 3/4 of it's out in the country, actually. You see like Mamdani in New York City. And now I know all of New York's not like that. There's rolling mountains, the Adirondacks. I mean, it's everyone from New York isn't like that. I know that, actually. But New York gets a bad name, like Michigan gets a bad name, like California gets a bad name. All of these things. Expensive state to live in, right? Your cars are all rusted out, right? I mean, but 305 in New York, you would still be getting screwed if they swapped the 6% for the 20 cents. Gas has to be $3.50 a gallon. Don't forget that. Before this new gas tax in Michigan might be within a fractions of a penny to your benefit. So here's the quandary we're in. The more we root for gas to go down, it actually goes up for us because the disparity of the 6% and that flat rate of 20 cents keeps getting bigger. Part of the Trump agenda was to lower gas prices. I thought right away when he got elected, there'd be a very high probability of that. He had a previous track record where he was good on gas prices. All these Republicans who voted for him, they endorsed him. They're on with his agenda. Why did they put a tax that's counter to that gas price agenda? Does that make sense? Now, if all of a sudden Kamala would have gotten elected, you might have hedged your bets and said, ooh, gas might go up to $5 a gallon. If AOC gets elected, which she probably will soon, you might want to bet that your gas might go up to $5 a gallon. Then there could be the argument, could be. Now, I don't accept any of these taxes. I'm just saying from within, we're accepting the place we're in. You might say, I'll swap 6% for 20 cents flat rate. This woman, this you know what, this whatever that's going into the White House might have gas up to $5 a gallon. We'll save money by 20 cents. But no, that's not what happened. Right as Trump's dropping gas prices, they swap us out from 6% to a flat rate. And the more gas prices keep going down, which is what we should all want, they kind of sort of keep going up now because we have that fixed weight of that tax on there. And they also do an inflation tax on gas. The inflationary tax rate went up 2.7% this year as well. So there's this hidden variable rate. And this is totally separate from the 20 cents versus the previous 6%. There's also already a 31 cent, I believe it is, state tax that's been on each gallon of gas. There's already a federal tax amount on each gallon of gas. Has anyone out there ever heard of tobacco before? If any of you are using tobacco of any sorts, much more of what you pay for that product is tax than it is the actual product. We're now getting that way with gas, where I'd have to do the math, but it seems like we're right at that point where you're paying more money in taxes than you are the actual petroleum product. And from what I've noticed, this stuff doesn't go away. What I think is going to happen is this. Now, this is me guessing. This is the future. I'm not saying in a year necessarily, but I can see this down the road. Let's just say within the next decade. I can see them still keeping that 20 cents in there as just a flat rate tax and then coming back in later and saying, well, the roads still aren't fixed. The roads are still terrible. We need to charge sales tax on gas. I mean, how can we let gas get away with it? We charge sales tax on everything else. By then, I think we should expect not that we want this. I'm just predicting the future. This is a total guess. I'm sure this channel will not be around then to call me out on it. But if you just want to know my opinion and let me know what you think, in the next decade, I see our sales tax probably being closer to 8 to 10%. They'll keep that 20 cent tax in there, and then they'll add sales tax back on again. And we'll be paying yet another double tax on top of the quadruple tax we were already paying. And here's the other problem. It's compounding taxes. So you start off with the price of gas. Then there's the flat rate taxes. Then there's the percentage taxes. And you keep adding the taxes in. And then you add the next percentage tax on. And now you're paying tax not only on the product, but you're paying tax on all of the compounded previous taxes that were below it in the equation. They always flip the equation whatever way they want to make it where stuff gets multiplied in the exact right order to make sure you're paying the very most. Makes you dizzy even going through all this. It's literally that insane, right? Just take another last look at the chat, and I'm going to jump out in 1 minute. DG96, if you want to know my opinion on that, I went on a half-hour rant right at the very beginning of the video. It's just getting colder yet in here. Jeez. I'm going to have to get out and warm up. What's up, Paul Bennett? How's it going, man? And thanks for being a channel member. He says, you're right, 2A EDU. It's Common Core math. Yeah, that is it, actually. You're right, Common Core. That is the correct terminology. Max Payne, politician math. It never adds up. I know. Why your name's gone? Dude, YouTube did something like a month or two back. Within days of it, I got a strike. Like, all this happened. Yeah, they've changed your name. They've done all this, man. Like, look at a lot of the other people in the chat. They added numbers to it. Like, it's like this coded thing, right? But I didn't change your name. This is just what YouTube's telling me. What's happening, Vince? How you doing, man? I hope you do good in the match tomorrow. And I'm glad you appreciate it. Drew in Oregon. What's happening, Drew? Nice to see you. Is that Raptor still hanging out? I told him I didn't get rid of him. He said that he basically said, I don't like you at all, to AEDU, but I do like you. So I let him stick around. That was really nice. I think that's the problem with me. I'm too nice sometimes. What do you guys think? Am I too nice? What's happening, Rosie? How you doing? Thank you for being a channel member. And she's absolutely correct. Taxes don't go away. It just gets shuffled around. Yes, ma'am. You nailed it. G23. What's happening, man? He says, good night, you all. Stay strapped or get clapped. Peace. Well, you be safe, man. And be safe, everybody out there. Are you working right now, Rick? Man, I've been out driving around in the cold, too. I've been doing lots of driving around lately. I have a feeling Rick might be driving around right now, if I'm not mistaken. Let's all go down there where Rick's working. Do you guys want to do a First Amendment audit? We'll drive by him. We'll all get my steak truck and we'll drive by him and be like, meh, meh. And do you guys ever see that, the First Amendment audit channels? What do you guys think would happen? He's kind of like in this rural area too. So just think about this. This is my good friend Rick here. Would you guys do this to your friend? What if we were all like, you guys don't want to talk about the First Amendment auditors? So we're all going to go down in this rural area of Michigan. And it is too. Like there's a little village there, but it's not even like a city limit. It's like a township. So we're going to go into this rural township. I think N8IWS, you'd do this with me, wouldn't you? No, him and Rick know each other in real life. But anyways, that's all good. Rick's one of my best friends. Now, we're all going to go in there, right? And we're going to go right by his patrol vehicle. We're all going to be like, you know, read between the lines. And we'll yell out pig. And we'll like, you know, bad cop, no donut. We'll do all this stuff to him. And then when he pulls us over, we'll just be like, I don't answer questions. I don't answer questions. Then we'll go further and we'll start to say stuff like, I'm a traveler. I'm not an operator. I'm not operating this vehicle. I'm only traveling. We'll like go full sovereign citizen. Would you guys do that? I don't know. Oh man, I'm delirious right now. I've been driving way too much. This is actually my friend, guys. I'm not even joking about this. What will we do? Like we'll go sovereign citizen. You guys have seen the YouTube videos I'm talking about, right? Will claim that he's the corporation. It'll say you're under arrest, and you're like, you can arrest my corporate ID, but you can't arrest my actual sovereign person. Then he throws us in jail. Then we end up in court, right? And then we end up in court. And then we ask the judge, we say, Judge, excuse me, before this even starts, I have an appeal. I have an appeal, a jurisdictional appeal. And then he'll say, state your jurisdiction appeal. And we'll say, sir, are we under United States law or are we under maritime law? And then we'll argue about whether we're under maritime law. You know what I'm saying, right? Would you guys do that? Well, we can moon him, but that actually in Michigan could be a serious offense. That could be a serious offense. We don't want to do that. He is our friend. We don't want to get him in trouble, guys. That could be a serious offense, though, in Michigan. I hear you, dude. If it was the 80s, we would do that. Yeah. What's happening, Barney Brady? In the morning? All right, cool. Cool. I'll probably be just going to bed for the night in the morning with all the snow I'm plowing. See, he just ruined all of our fun. And that's why I was messing with him the whole time. I already knew the answer. He just ruined our fun, boys. So we tried to get something going. We can't do it because he doesn't pull over and stop auditors. So there you go. No, that's why I said, guys, look, I talk about the jackbooted like ATF cops and stuff. Rick's not going to take your guns. He's not going to get you for auditing him. But it was still fun to think about for a minute, right, Pillbox? Pillbox is like, let's go do this. No, that's what I was getting at, Dale. We can talk about jurisdictional. We'll talk about maritime law. We'll talk about all this stuff. Dude, it is cold, California prepper. How you doing, by the way? Dude, it's back down. I think it's 10 degrees. Maybe as we speak, it might be back down to 9 degrees again. I've been cold a lot the last week. But hey, right now the truck's stopping. I didn't fix it how I wanted to, but I did what I could. So I appreciate all of your advice and thoughts and prayers on all that. And hey, I'm just going to keep trying to make it through. Look, when I was going hardcore earlier in the stream just about that tax stamp thing, I'm definitely looking forward to going back afterwards and reading the chat, because I genuinely wanted to know where you guys stand. See what's going on with all that. And then, of course, whoever leaves a comment, if there's anybody still watching on the replay crew, big shout out to you. And good to see you all tonight. Let me just check to make sure there's no more chats here. And I am going to jump off. God bless California Prepper. I appreciate you, man. And thank you for the prayers. I appreciate it. And dude, look, man, both of us are working way too much, Rick. I'm just trying to make you laugh. I just thought, dude, let's go try to be sovereign citizen. And dude, we should do that. That'd be like, not to Rick. He's a good dude. He's one of my good friends. But we should start going to these uptight places and pull the whole like fake sovereign citizen thing. This channel would go viral, dude. I'd have 1 million subs within like a week. Like, people seriously love those type of videos. I like them too. I have to admit, they're pretty fun. God bless you, Guinness. Take it easy, man. And good night to Raptor, man. If he's still, I know he's still watching out there. We're still friends. So good night, Raptor. I'm glad I didn't get rid of him so quick. He said, no, dude, we're still friends. So that's good. I'm glad. God bless you as well, Pillbox Bunker. All right. I will see you guys all again soon. And hopefully I'll be over on Locals and that other green site that YouTube doesn't like this weekend. Like, I'm hoping I'll have a little time where I'm not plowing again. But until then, I'm going to go to try to warm up just a little bit. You all stay warm out there as well. All right. Thanks for watching, and have a good one.